Hi everyone and welcome to Taruka. In today's video, I will show you how to create an invoice using the Taruka system. The first thing we need to do is to log in into our Taruka account. Okay, so once we are logged in, go to the menu on the left and click Invoice. On the invoice dashboard, you will see a list of all the invoices have been created, along with their invoice date, due date, amount, and status. To create a new invoice, click Create Invoice at the top right corner of the dashboard. Next, we will enter the customer information. If you already saved the customer's information in Taruka, you can simply search for the customer and select them. Their saved information will automatically appear. If you haven't saved the customer information yet, you can enter it manually. You can enter details such as the customer's name, email address, phone number, SSM registration number, SST number, LHDN number, and address. You can also add a person in charge or PIC who will be responsible for receiving the invoice. For this example, I'll select an existing customer to make things easier. Next, we'll go to the product or service section. If you already saved your products or services in Taruka, you can simply select the item you want to include in the invoice. Alternatively, you can also enter the item manually. For this example, I've already added my service. So even though this section is called products, you can also use it for services. At the bottom, there is also a section for additional notes where you can add an extra information related to the invoice. Next, let's move to the setting on the top right. Here you can set the invoice date. You can also set the due date, which determines how many days your customer has to make the payment after the invoice is issued. Next is the currency. If you're dealing with customers who use Malaysian ringgit, simply select Malaysian ringgit. Below that, we have the PDF language option. You can choose whether you want to generate the PDF to be in English or Bahasa Melayu. Next, we have the SST setting. If your product or services requires SST, you can use the standard 6% rate or enter a different rate using the custom option. For example, you can set a custom rate such as 10%. If the transaction is not subjected to SST or SST exempted, you can also select the option of no tax. Next, we have the watermark option. If you want to add a watermark to your invoice PDF, you can enable it here. This can be useful if you want to indicate that the document is a copy, draft, or otherwise, prevent it from being mistaken for an original document. Next, we have the payment link. The payment link can be configured through the Taruka system setting under the payment gateway integration. For example, I've already configured my account with Stripe. You can choose the supported payment gateway that works best for your business. So what is a payment link? Basically, a payment link will be included in the invoice that you generate. Your customer can simply click the payment link in the invoice and they will be taken to the payment page where they can make the payment immediately. This makes the payment process much easier for both of you and your customers. For this example, I'm using Stripe as the payment gateway. Now let's look at the invoice total. For this example, I've added one item with a price of 200 ringgit. The quantity is 1 and the SST is 6%. So the final outcome will be 212 ringgit. Before creating the invoice, we can click preview to see what the invoice will look like. As you can see, this is the preview of the invoice that we've created. The payment link isn't displayed yet because we haven't finalized the invoice. This is only a preview. At this stage, you can choose to save as a draft if you want to make changes later, or you can cancel the invoice. For this example, I'm going to click create and finalize. And this is the new invoice that we have just created. As you can see, the invoice status is now finalized. Now let's see what we can do with the invoice. Click the three dot menu on the far right. You'll be given several options. You can view the invoice, copy it, download, print it, or send it to your customer via email. You can also send it through WhatsApp. However, the WhatsApp sending feature is only available for Taruka Max users, which starts from 30 ringgit per month. You can also mark the invoice as paid once your customer has made the payment. And if necessary, you can delete the invoice from the same menu. Now let's take a look at the payment link that I've mentioned before. Since we have already created and finalized the invoice, the payment link is now displayed at the bottom of the service. When your customer receives the invoice as digital copy, they can simply click the payment link. Then they will be taken to the payment gateway page where they can complete the payment. For this example, the customer can pay using a card. So the customer will enter their payment details directly on the payment gateway. Taruka does not store the customer's card information because the payment is processed directly through the payment gateway. And that's it. Creating an invoice with Taruka is simple and straightforward. So, if you have any questions or encounter any issues, you can submit your support ticket and our team will be happy to assist you. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next tutorial.